Anyway, so here we go. Meat and drink, heart and soul, Dungeons and Dragons. Simon and Garfunkel, Freeman, Hardy and Willis. But most
well
crucially,
done for doing Freeman, Hardy, Willis. That's a reference for people from the previous century.
They were a great trio, weren't they? I loved them.
I loved all their albums.
Tight harmonies.
Particularly, I didn't like it when they went electric. But so Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, all 134 minutes of it. Adventure fantasy based on the role-playing game that your child 3 plays. So. Hands up. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I know very little about it. When I go up to your attic, I walk past Child 3's room where there is the sound of orcs. Always, because he's online doing it.
He basically is a games master, so he runs it.
Yeah. So this is there have been previous screen incarnations. There was a trilogy of 3 previous movies: the 2000 with Jeremy Irons, I think, 2005's Wrath of the Dragon God, and 2012's Book of Vile Darkness.
Nice.
Apparently not respected within the community. Generally thought of as absolutely terrible. This is a reboot directed by Jonathan Goldstein, John Francis Daly, who co-wrote the script. The story is credited to Michael, I think Gilio, and Scott Mackay. Their previous writing credits include Spider-Man: Homecoming and co-directing Game Night. So the film's got a kind of a tortured history. It was with Hasbro, Universal, Warner's, blah blah, Paramount. Anyway, what it is, it's a fantasy heist movie in which a group assemble to carry out a job. So Chris Pine is Egin Davis, whose wife was killed and who then raised his daughter Kira with Holga, played by Michelle Rodriguez, who steals every scene. They're both in prison for thieving and they're pleading for a pardon. They want to get Kira back from their former partner, Forge, played by Hugh Grant, definitely in Paddington 2 mode.
Okay.
Which is, he's now said that basically what he likes to do is play cads, scoundrels, and,
bounders.
And bounders. He was interviewed on Stephen Colbert and he made some sort of very funny jokes about why that's the case. And also get a resurrection tablet that could resurrect life and therefore bring back his lost wife. Teams up with the magic sorcerer Simon, played by Justice Smith, and shape-shifting tiefling druid, I believe, Doric, Sophie Lillis, who's best known to me from the It movies. Here is Simon using his magic to question a corpse because he has a certain spell which you raise the corpse from the dead, ask it 5 questions, goes back to being a corpse.
Okay, Simon, how does this work?
All right. Once the dead man is revived, we can ask him 5 questions, at which point he will die again, never to be re-revived.
Why 5 questions?
I don't know, that's just how it works.
Seems arbitrary.
Can we get on with this, please?
Right, yes. Perlamon Tergatis. Maybe I'm not saying it right. I wasn't scared, nearly startled.
I'm going to use that line. I wasn't scared.
Yeah, I was really startled.
Okay, but you get a sense of
it's kind of
comedy there.
So the quest then involves magical helmets, hordes of treasure, gladiatorial games, and Hugh Grant doing the Hugh Grant CAD thing, which is it's a little overlong. It makes kind of no sense to some extent unless you're familiar with the kind of the board games, and it's daft as a brush, but it is fun. Now, I say this as somebody who's never played Dungeons and Dragons. I asked Child 3 because I enjoyed it and I thought, okay, I probably a little bit more knowledge might have helped. So I said to Child 3, look, what's the general deal? He said, I haven't seen it, but have you seen the tweet by Matthew Mercer? I said, I haven't. So he said, okay, fine. He then said, you do know who Matthew Mercer is, don't you? And I said, remind me.
Because that's always better than saying no.
Exactly. Runs the show Critical Role, where a bunch of voice actors play Dungeons and Dragons with cast members, blah, 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 blah. It's one of the main reasons for D&D's popularity researching. Has an animated series of its own on Amazon, blah, 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 blah. One of the largest live streams of any kind in the world. So that, along with Stranger Things, has sort of brought it very much into popular thing. And Matthew Mercer said, got to be part of the Los Angeles premiere of the Dungeons & Dragons movie last night. As much as I was apprehensive given the scars of the 2000 film, the film is thankfully a blast. Fun, humorous, with some good action and adventure. It evokes, well, a good session at a table. So what that seems to say to me, as the outsider who doesn't know anything about this, is if you do play the game, it evokes the atmosphere of a good session playing the game. The directors themselves have said that the film doesn't take itself seriously, but crucially is never a spoof. And they cite as influences The Princess Bride, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Lord of the Rings, and Indiana Jones, which are good reference points. If you're going to be doing this, those are good reference points. Certainly if you put it next to something like Thor Love and Thunder, which was just these smart aleck, smug jokes. It's like, I remember when I reviewed Thor Love and Thunder, it was like, if not even you care about this, why should I care about this? The jokes here aren't, we don't care. The jokes here are, we would like this to be funny. I mean, there's a lot of visual effects. There's the owl bear. The owl bear, Child 3 tells me, is a thing anyway. But so the owl bear turns up. And
do you mean owl bear as in French for Albert, or an owl bear?
Owl bear.
A bear that's an owl, or an owl that's a bear? Half owl, half bear?
Yeah, you know the confusion that's in your voice?
Yes.
Yeah, that was exactly me. And then I said to Child 3, and the owl bear, he went, oh yeah, no, that's a thing.
Right. Okay.
It's a thing. Okay.
Half owl, half bear.
Half owl, half bear. All it's just a thing.
Yeah.
But it's the CGI effects are, you know, it's a big CGI special effects thing with jokes in between. So there'll be a big thing about, you know, a monster, and then somebody will quip. And a lot of those quips are in the trailer. Actually, I think the trailer was a little too spoilery. Sometimes the visual effects look a bit video gamey, but I laughed several times. I didn't get bored, despite the fact that it is long. It's 134 minutes. The scenery may be digital, but Hugh Grant chews it as if it's absolutely physical. And, you know, there's a thing in it with the hither thither spell, which is when you it's like Portal, which is one of the very few video games that I do understand. You've got an opening, an entrance and an exit, and you can put the entrance one place and the exit somewhere else, and they use that kind of rather well. The whole thing cost, you know, well over $100 million, and I suppose that one might argue that the effects aren't quite up to snuff. But you never come out of a film like that. If you ever come out of a film like that going, the effects were really great, what it means is, and everything else was rubbish. And in the case of this, they're likable characters. Everything has got a quite nice shonkiness to it. It feels like it's having fun with itself. Apparently, from the evidence of Child 3, those in the know are not outraged by it. And actually, I think when you come to video game adaptations, the people knowing about it not being outraged by it is a pretty sort of solid thing. So it was, I went in thinking that it was 94 minutes long, thinking, wow, this is going to be a breeze. I mean, it's you know, an hour and 34 minutes. And as I went in, they said, no, it's 134 minutes long. That's 2 hours something. And I went, oh, really? And then I have to say, it was longer than I expected, but it felt shorter than I thought.
So that is shorter than John Wick 4.
Everything's shorter than John Wick 4. I think The Godfather is shorter than John Wick 4.
And is a film that is enjoying itself, is that a good thing, or is that slightly dodgy?
No. I think that it's the sense of fun that it has is kind of infectious.
Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, I would. I have done.
Excellent.